Most men spend their entire lives trying to impress women and still miss the one thing she actually wants. And the strange part? The older and wiser a woman becomes, the more invisible this desire becomes to men. Listen carefully, because if you miss this, you can be charming, successful, even attractive, and she will still slowly lose interest in you. I want you to imagine something. A mature woman sits across from you. She's lived through heartbreak, disappointment, maybe betrayal. She has seen men who were confident on the outside, but emotionally hollow on the inside. And now she watches you. Not your car, not your clothes, not even your words. She watches how safe your presence feels to her mind. This is the first truth most men never learn. A mature woman does not crave excitement the way a young girl might. She has already experienced excitement. She has dated the charming talker, the mysterious rebel, the man who could make her heart race. But with time, something changes inside her psychology. Her nervous system begins searching for something deeper, not thrills, stability of emotional energy. When she looks at a man now, her mind silently asks questions most men never hear. Can he handle silence without panicking? Can he listen without trying to prove himself? Can he remain grounded when emotions appear? Most men fail this test immediately, because when they sit with a woman they like, anxiety takes over. They try to impress, they talk too much, they perform confidence rather than embodying calm. And a mature woman feels this instantly, not logically, viscerally. Her brain reads emotional signals the same way radar reads movement in the dark. Your tone, your pacing, your reactions. If you become reactive, defensive, needy, or approval-seeking, her attraction quietly dissolves. Not because you are a bad man, but because her subconscious no longer sees emotional safety. You see, a mature woman has already experienced emotional chaos in relationships. She has felt the man who becomes jealous, the man who needs constant reassurance, the man who becomes distant when challenged. So when she meets a man who is steady, something rare happens. Her guard begins to lower, she relaxes. And this is where most men misunderstand female psychology. They think attraction grows through performance. But for a mature woman, attraction grows through emotional steadiness. When you remain calm in moments where other men would become insecure, she notices. When you listen without interrupting, she notices. When you are comfortable with who you are, without constantly trying to prove it, she notices. This creates a feeling inside her that she cannot easily explain. It feels like peace, and peace is dangerously attractive to a woman who has spent years navigating emotional turbulence. So while most men chase attention, approval, and validation from women, the man who quietly stands grounded in himself becomes something else entirely. Not entertaining, not flashy, but rare. And rarity is the beginning of real attraction. Because the hidden desire many mature women carry is not for a man who excites their emotions. It is for a man who stabilizes them. There is something else mature women begin craving, but very few men understand it. And it has nothing to do with money, looks, or status. It is emotional depth, not the kind men perform in movies or dramatic speeches. Real depth is much quieter than that. A mature woman has already spent years hearing surface-level conversations, small talk, predictable flirting, the same recycled compliments men use on every woman they meet. You're beautiful, you're different, I've never met anyone like you. She has heard it all, and after enough time, those words stop meaning anything. What she begins to notice instead is whether a man can actually see her, not the version she shows the world, but the woman behind it. Because a mature woman carries layers most men never try to understand. She has private thoughts, hidden insecurities, dreams she rarely talks about, and parts of her personality she only reveals when she feels truly understood. Most men never reach those layers. Why? Because they stay on the surface. They talk about work, hobbies, movies, or attraction, but they never explore the emotional world a woman lives inside. And that is where the hidden desire begins. A mature woman wants a man who is curious about her mind, not interrogating, not analyzing her like a puzzle, just genuinely interested in who she is beneath the obvious. When a man asks thoughtful questions, something changes in her. When he listens carefully, instead of waiting for his turn to speak, she notices. When he remembers small details she mentioned days ago, she notices even more, because very few men actually do this. Most are focused on impressing her, but the man who slows down and pays attention creates a completely different experience. He makes her feel seen. And when a mature woman feels seen, something powerful happens psychologically. Her defenses begin to soften. She opens up. She shares stories she rarely tells. She laughs more freely. She becomes more playful, more expressive, more alive in the conversation. Not because he performed perfectly, but because he created a space where she felt comfortable revealing herself. This is the second hidden desire many men miss. Mature women do not want to feel like a prize being chased. They want to feel like a person being understood. And the difference between those two experiences is enormous. When a woman feels chased, she becomes cautious. When she feels understood, she becomes connected. And connection is where attraction grows deeper. This is why sometimes you see something confusing happen. A woman may meet two men. One is extremely impressive, successful, confident, charismatic. The other is simply present, attentive, and emotionally aware. And slowly she begins gravitating toward the second man. Not because he is more exciting, but because he makes her feel something rare, psychological intimacy. And when that begins to form, attraction stops being temporary. It becomes something much more difficult to replace. Because a mature woman can find charm almost anywhere, but finding a man who actually understands her inner world, that is something she encounters only a few times in her entire life. Now, here's the part almost no man ever sees coming. Mature women have a hidden craving for validation that doesn't come from flattery. Not the kind where you tell her she's beautiful or compliment her smile. She's heard that her entire life. What she craves is deeper. It's the kind of validation that reassures her existence matters, that her experiences, struggles, and choices are seen and respected. Think about it. She's lived through relationships where she was dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood. She's been with men who either talked over her, minimized her feelings, or treated her like an accessory to their life. And now, when she meets a man who doesn't rush to judgment, who doesn't try to fix her immediately, who doesn't compete with her intelligence or life experience, something shifts. This is subtle, but it's magnetic. It's the way you nod when she explains a story, letting her know you hear her without rushing to offer solutions. It's the way you acknowledge her choices, even when you don't fully understand them. It's the calm steadiness in your presence that says, I see you, I value you, I respect you, and I'm here without expectation. Most men confuse validation with agreement. They think, I have to say what she wants to hear. That's amateur-level thinking. Mature women don't need yes men. They need a man who can mirror back their worth without needing to control it. And here's the psychological kicker. The man who gives this type of validation doesn't just attract attention, he triggers something almost primal. He lowers her anxiety, even if just slightly. He releases tension she didn't know she was holding. She begins to associate safety, respect, and calm with him, which, in the brain of a mature woman, is intensely attractive. This is why so many men fail, even when they're confident and charming. They focus on getting her rather than allowing her to reveal herself on her own terms. They chase attention rather than creating emotional space. And without that space, a mature woman can't relax, can't let her guard down, and can't experience real desire. The truth is brutal, but liberating. A woman's hidden desire is not for the man who dazzles her. It is for the man who doesn't need to dazzle her. The one who steadies her, validates her presence, and makes her feel psychologically safe. If you can master this, you're no longer competing for her attention. You become someone she wants to seek out, cherish, and confide in, naturally, without manipulation, without games. And that, my friend, is how attraction becomes almost effortless once you understand the psychology most men completely ignore. Now here's the final truth that separates ordinary men from the ones women never forget. It's not about gifts, adventures, or even words of affirmation. It's about presence under pressure, the ability to remain steady when life, emotions, or conflict push hard. Think about it. Mature women have endured enough chaos to recognize instability instantly. They've been with men who lost control, got defensive, or withdrew the moment things became tense. And each experience left a mark, making them cautious, alert, sometimes skeptical. What they crave, deeply, almost unconsciously, is a man who anchors them emotionally. A man whose calm doesn't mean he's indifferent, but that he can carry his emotions without losing himself or her trust. When you show this kind of presence, something remarkable happens. Her brain begins to release tension she didn't even realize she was holding. Her heart slows, her mind stops scanning for danger. She starts to associate you with safety, not in a boring or passive way, but in a powerfully attractive way that few men ever achieve. This is why timing, patience, and emotional regulation matter more than bold gestures or flashy words, because the man who can maintain composure, listen without judgment, and stay grounded when others would panic, becomes irreplaceable. Here's the hidden mechanism most men don't see. Mature women are wired to subconsciously measure a man's energy stability. Every reaction you have, every subtle micro-expression, signals whether you're safe to invest in emotionally. And when you consistently project steady energy, she begins to feel something almost magnetic, a pull she can't quite explain, a desire rooted in subconscious certainty rather than superficial attraction. It's why the man who doesn't chase her attention, who doesn't overperform, but simply remains present, attentive, and emotionally reliable, becomes irresistible because he is rare, because he is stable, because he gives her exactly what most men can't, a sense of being truly understood and emotionally secure. And here's the challenge I want you to take seriously. Think about your own presence. Are you the man who excites her temporarily but leaves her anxious? Or the man who stabilizes, validates, and anchors her on a deeper level? Here's a question for you. If emotional stability is 7/10 and understanding is 9/10, what would be the missing X factor that makes a mature woman fully desire you? Write your answer in the comments below. If this video opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who really needs to hear this. Because mastering this secret isn't just about attraction, it's about becoming the man women remember for a lifetime.